I'm going to actually start this episode off with a bit of continuity. Do you remember the last time we recorded one of these? You gave us some homework and we had to come back with our drag queen names.
Yes, holy fuck, yeah. I definitely remember. Yeah, go on.
Well, after some alcohol, I came up with Athena Fear for me.
Ah, yes, kind of like Athena Fire.
But fear, because fear's very important.
Mine's DNA. Claire came up with that.
I love it when they happen organically. That was when we were at that ale bar, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think DNA and Athena Fear would get along? What kind of relationship do you reckon that would end up being?
Savage.
A fiery anus.
Fiery anus. That's cool. Right, my name is Athena Fear, and this is Barely Banter Podcast, episode 15.
Oh, congratulations.
Here's to 15 episodes of whatever this is. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm drinking Jim Beam and Pepsi.
I am Devious Midge, and I am drinking free, I might add, Recordling Botanicals, Rhubarb Lemon Mint. Yeah, I got given it, and I thought this seems like the perfect time to drink this fodder. However, pleasantly surprised, tastes like rhubarb and custard sweets. Try it, it's really
It's the
delicious.
mint thing that made me kind of scrunch
Don't worry
my
about
face
the
up.
mint, don't worry about the mint, it's literally just sweets.
That is really refreshing, actually.
Isn't it? Highly recommend. Looks like your perfect Basic Becky beverage, that.
I've got to go back to
Very
bourbon
refreshing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
now. Oh,
Got that free when I left one.
I'm DNA and I'm drinking Dead Man's Fingers. With some Dr. Pepper.
Also your Basic Becky beverage.
do you guys watch any of the San Diego Comic-Con stuff that happened on the 18th to the 22nd of July?
Is this the stuff that I was watching with you?
Yes, the panels.
Yeah, some of it was Game of Thrones, some of it was Avengers.
I had to sift through, not all of it. Like, I didn't go through Brooklyn Nine-Nine because I'm still a season behind on that and I didn't want to.
Spoil.
It's my bad, but I have gotten better. Like, last time we met, I had so much to catch up on. This time, I have grown up and got my own Netflix account.
Congratulations.
Which is, thank you. It's annoying because I like the red bar that shows you've watched it, but I'm completely fresh. So I've started from, like, the last season of BoJack Horseman, halfway through it and that kind of stuff.
I might go to like the last one, go to it, skip, and I keep doing that to the end to try and actually look like I've read it.
It's a shame you can't, like, right-click and then mark as watched. Since we last met, I've finished The Good Place. I've finished It's Always Sunny. I finished BoJack. I'm still on the same episode of Vikings. Will be forever.
You are still on
the Blood Eagle episode, yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's next, then it's Archer. And then I'm probably going to plough through Vikings properly. So yeah, did anyone watch... Do you watch any of the Comic-Con stuff?
Nope.
I watched bits with you.
Well, Scott, there was a Rick and Morty panel. Season 4's out in November.
Mm-hmm.
The gaps between seasons are a thing in the past now. We won't get it again. And that's good because Season 5 is currently being made and Season 4's not even out yet. So they're going to spam them out, I think. Or
70 episodes, isn't it?
I'm guessing they're always going to have a backlog because they need to think of stuff in the future, don't they, at the same time? Have you seen the trailer for the new
there was
one?
no trailer.
There is so much bollocks Rick and Morty merchandise. You know what I mean? Like, I was in Primark in Birmingham, brand new, largest one in Europe, 7 fucking stories worth of Primark. I shit you not. I walked in and I was overwhelmed. But straight away, saw shitloads of Rick and Morty merch.
Yeah, they've introduced a new character, which they showed on the panel, but they didn't show it on YouTube for some reason. And they're like, yes, there's going to be lots of merch available here on that character. Like, so meta. Like, even though, like, yeah, this new character's here. Don't want to talk about him, but there's a teddy bear at the fucking merchandise stands or whatever it was.
Money grabbing.
But they said it in a kind of, like, self-aware meta way, but at the same time they were advertising the character's merchandise before telling us anything about the character.
I don't know if I like that.
Anyway, The Good Place, Season 4, the final season. Out on September 26th this year. The creator, Mike Schur, purposely withheld details of the final episode to his cast members prior to the Comic-Con panel because it's apparently a very emotional episode and he didn't want to get them depressed the night before they had to do all these Q&As about The Good Place. Jeez. And he also didn't want Ted Danson to spoil it because apparently he's prone to that sort of shit. He's already found work for when it's done as well.
Yeah, of course he has. Ted fucking Danson.
Yeah, he was like, oh, why have you found work so quickly? He was like, this is how I handle breakups. But it's good. Schur never intended it to go on for seasons and seasons and seasons. No. He didn't want it to be like that, which I respect that a lot because he probably could drag it out.
He thought he'd maybe get a second season and that would be it.
Mm.
It's done really well.
Yeah, it's really good as well. But yeah, apparently it's going to be a pretty upsetting ending.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm hoping they don't go all cliche and cringe. We'll see. Because it's quite an alternative programme. I'd like to think that they ended it in a different way.
A bittersweet ending's fine with me.
Yeah, satisfying yet leaves us wanting more.
I think I prefer a darker ending to a they all lived happily ever after ending.
Yeah.
But to be fair though, I thought if they ended it at season 3, that would have been really good, like the way they did it.
Yeah.
That would have been very satisfying to me. Okay, Claire, you can switch off your ears for a second because I'm just gonna very quickly go through all the fucking shit that Marvel spewed out.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Fuckload of Phase 4 stuff.
Natalie Portman being in it was exciting.
Yep, she's the new Thor. She's picking up Molinar and carrying on duties, however that's gonna be. Yep, that's out in November 2021, so you got a good while to wait for that.
Fucking Angelina Jolie was there, holy shit. Maleficent 2, excited about that.
Oh, I saw a trailer to that when we watched The Lion King, which we'll get onto later.
Same, yeah, we'll have to chat about Lion King. I have things to say about that.
Marvel released no trailers whatsoever, just a timeline, basically, of what's to come. It started with The Black Widow, May 2020, then you got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Fall 2020, Eternals, November 2020. These aren't all, like, films, some of these are TV series or, like, one-offs. Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings is February 2021. I did Google that and I was like, yeah, I don't recognise any of the characters in this. WandaVision, Spring 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is May 2021.
Is that a series or film?
Loki, Spring 2021. It's going to be interesting to see how they're doing that. There was so much that they did. It was over an hour long, the conference, and they brought out what looked like the entire world of Hollywood on stage. I was like, this is a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, there were shitloads of stars on stage.
They all came on with these hats.
Hats?
Yeah, like, I don't know what they were, like Phase 4 hats. Hawkeye, Fall 2021. And
what that was, I remember this now, because I saw this part with you. Then they did a big group photo with all the fucking celebs. They were basically hoping to spew Instagram with that, weren't they? That was literally a photo for Instagram for people to retweet and fucking hash out with their different fucking hashtags. That was basically a marketing tool, that picture was. Because of the amount of celebrities that were in it. It was so state.
It was going to be spammed. It's going to be spammed everywhere, isn't it? That's going to be shared within moments. Like, oh my god, look at all the cast in one go. Oh my god, look at this, look at this. Share,
etc. And that's kind of what happened. This all started from, I believe it was at the Oscars. Yes, and it was influencers retweeting this one picture that Ellen took of a huge cast of people. This was back when it was cool to do that. Now everyone fucking does it. And it just gets a bit bullshitty for me. Bands do it now too, where they take a picture with all the crowd in the background.
I just don't get modern shit with that.
It ended up with, they wrapped up their panel with them announcing the new... Ursula Ali just turned up. They were all like, this guy's brought his own hat, and he put on a hat and it had Blade written on it. So he's going to be the next Blade. You know Mahershala Ali.
Was he the one that was in House of Cards? He played Demi in House of Cards, and he got a Best Supporting Actor's role for it. Is that him? Because then Scott will know who this is, and that's fucking exciting, because he is a brilliant actor if it's the same one.
I know he's very good, but he's not Wesley Snipes as Blade.
No, but he's seasoned, and he's got accolades.
He's got the attitude, I think. He's still got that.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, he
won.
Played
that kind of similar badass role.
He won Best Supporting Actor for The Green Book in the latest Oscars. He plays Remy Danton in House and Cards.
Remy, that was it. Remy, not Denny. I was close with my words. But yeah, I'm excited about that then.
That's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm confident in his abilities. He's got really good range. Mm-hmm. But Wesley Snipes, who can top that? I don't know if even he could.
Apparently one of the films that
Idris Elba as Blade would be fucking cool.
I want to see him as James Bond.
Ooh, I want to see Julie
And I know I'm not alone in that, because apparently... Well, I've just spoke to a lot of people, basically, who would like, yeah, that would be a sweet idea.
That would be a sick idea. I think Gillian Anderson would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you and Gillian.
Gillian. Fucking, when it was all being speculated about the next Bond, there was a poster released about Gillian Anderson. Basically her in front of the barrel of the gun, looking hot as fuck, I might add. And I was
course.
like, yes, actually, I could totally see Julian as Bond.
Wesley Snipes in Demolition apparently wouldn't open his eyes because he doesn't like close-up scenes, so they had to CGI his eyes. Or was it in Blade? It's one of the films they did that to CGI his eyes in. And there's also a few other things he wouldn't do. He would never do any recordings of him smoking marijuana, and a few other scenes he actually refused to do. So they had to try and do workarounds with some things or CGI him because he would refuse to do it. And one of them is any close-up scene, he used to just close his eyes.
I wonder why. I mean, as an actor, that's really kicking yourself in the nads there. Because people would be put off working with you.
But at the same time, it's Wesley Snipes.
Oh, come off it, Eve, come on.
He's got so... Well, with Wesley Snipes, I think he had some leeway. But at the end of the day, I think it's a job, isn't it? The funny thing is, actors used to sit there because they first had to paint their faces completely white and look quite racist within it because of first TV going on. Then they used to do programmes where they used to douse them in pig's blood and stuff like that. Live TV, just completely in pig's blood and stuff like that.
Why pig's blood?
It was to do
in, like
like
murder scenes
TV,
and shit?
TV shows, stuff like that at first, like that, comedies and stuff like this. This is complete and utter just things. But things change, of course, over time. And isn't it funny, like how they used to be able to sit there, then it's doing this, doing that, and it has really just... It just shows how much it's lightened up over times, and it has really... But I always remember...
The boundaries of what is and isn't acceptable have shifted.
Yeah, so I wonder what is now, like, because at the end of the day...
Yeah,
I
see
think
what you
in
mean.
acting it's quite difficult.
In what way? Okay, what do you think an act is acceptable for an actor to get away with and not to get away with now?
Oh, see, for me, it would have to go by scene. It's quite difficult. It's quite broad. That's a very broad spectrum.
I'll help you out. I think...
Because health and safety, of course, you don't want to put them in danger. So I understand for stunt people.
No, because that's from a production point of view.
Okay.
Like, as an actor, before, like, it didn't really matter if people turned up late and
Refusing
shit, whereas
kissing
now...
same-sex could be one.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Refuse kissing same-sex within a scene.
Yeah, like certain
But I
scenes.
think that should be possible. You're an actor, so I think that should be something you should do.
Yeah, no, I think it very much depends on... I think a choice is allowed there. I think you should be able to opt out. Because I think that's more important to
But
be
if
able
you're
to do
playing
something
a
you're
role
comfortable
of
with.
someone who does, then you're only acting what someone else does. It's at that point.
Well, this is why you choose
See,
to
that's
do certain roles
See,
and
this
not.
is there again. It's like, where do you draw the line?
But as an actor now, I think it's more important for your work ethic to be there and for you to turn up on time and put in the graft. Whereas before, they weren't that asked about it and people used to bitch about it in the media. You don't really hear that anymore. You know what I mean? Actors now, it's okay. It's not okay to turn up fucking hungover and all that bollocks because people are so aware of what's happening.
Oh yeah, and the
Your
news
work
the
ethic
news
is
would
really-
spread like wildfire.
Exactly, and then you wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So it's no longer okay to turn up wasted and late and shit. Whereas before it was fine.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was fine back then.
Yeah, I was going to say back
Now.
then. Back then, it was like having like butter and bread.
There was a trailer for Star Trek Picard web TV series going to be on Prime, coming
looks good.
early 2020. Set 20 years after Star Trek Nemesis. The trailer was quite good actually. You saw Data dismantled in his drawer and it was there. It was really cool. And you also saw 7 of 9.
Ooh, she was hot.
The funny
She's
thing I
still
found
Is she?
about the whole dismantled Data was the fact is they made moulds of the exact dismantled parts. So when they put them away, they made an exact mould. It wasn't like he was just stuck in a drawer. He was stuck in exact moulds because he was dismantled quite destructively.
Yeah.
So there was like the moulds all around it. So I found like
The
even
shattered
took
pieces.
times of all the pieces as well, which I thought
He
that's
looked like a
quite
computer
nice.
part being shipped to Japan.
Yeah, like he was not going anywhere. He was packed perfectly.
Of course he is. Data, you sly dog.
There was a Witcher trailer, which
I love that.
I showed you, yes. Some good news about that.
Times. It's really good and I can't wait for it.
They're using the books as source material, not the games.
I don't know anything about the books.
But then again, the games use the books as their source material, so by proxy, everyone's going to be happy.
You're gonna have
True.
overlaps, I'm sure.
Yeah. What I did do last week is I didn't know this even existed until last week. I watched the 2002 Witcher TV series, and by that I mean I watched one
I
episode.
didn't realise there was a 2002.
Yeah, that's when it was released. It was filmed in Poland.
Subbed or dubbed or anything.
It had subtitles,
Oh, okay.
which were awful. Like they were. I think they were translated by fan. I'm not entirely sure because all this was on YouTube. I could be completely wrong. I didn't research into it, but it had a thank you for the people who translated it at the beginning. It was terrible. I'm not going to go into like the punctuation and the grammar and all that sort of crap, but they were covering the whole screen at one point. It wasn't just like written at the bottom casually, like the whole fucking screen in big bubbled fucking all capitals.
Missing the exact scene was happening.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck's going on? It was awful, man. It looked like a shit Hercules, even though it was younger. I was like, truly dreadful. I lasted one, and it was really dodgy as well. Like, first scene was like Geralt walking through this like lake, killing this monster, which you didn't get to see, so it just looked like he was beating the
weird
water
as
up.
hell. Like his chest and his biceps and his triceps looked like they just went over the pump and just pumped him a little bit extra, and then they just
That's
released
in the
him.
new series trailer you're on about.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. In the new
Yeah.
series, yeah, he looks.
Shall I pause this and
swelled
show you the
up.
trailer?
Please.
Okay. Right, so that's coming out late this year. What did you think?
Of the trailer?
Yes.
I am not going to lie, when you first started talking about it, I completely switched off and started texting.
Fair enough.
So, didn't really hear much of what you said about it before. However, having watched the trailer, I might actually watch it.
It's actually.
It looks pretty cool, to be fair. The trailer looked kind of Lord of the Rings meets Hansel and Gretel. You know what I mean?
No, that's
the
a really
Hansel
good
and
way to
Gretel, that's
describe it.
whimsical, but it's still quite serious. Having not played the game whatsoever, and just being a fan of fantasy, I'd happily watch that as a series.
It does look like they pumped him up with a bicycle pump a little bit too much, though.
I see what you mean. He does look animated.
But then again, he is not human. He's a witcher, which
He makes him
It make-
physically different
yeah.
in that way.
so
yeah,
I'm
why not?
it's acceptable for
It's
it, and
fancy.
I'm okay with it because obviously his eyes will be different and everything else, and he have certain powers.
Pointy ears, all that.
See in the dark, not pointy ears.
Oh.
He'll be hot as fuck though. It might make your vagina tingle, I think.
I mean, my vagina's already confused just from the trailer, so happy about that.
Once I think he starts, especially if it is going well with the books and if the way he is and like he is, yeah.
I'm excited.
If I was going to recommend or suggest, just for the sheer like awkward viewing of it all, watch the Game of Thrones panel at Comic-Con this year.
Oh, yes.
Like, we watched it together, didn't we?
We
And it was
did.
so tense. Like, obviously it's finished, but they were just doing like one last one.
And obviously there was that controversy about people liking or not liking the final series.
It started off with some bloke, no idea who he was at the beginning. He had to give a speech about acceptance and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, so he's already
Just
like
to,
trying
like,
to lay the red
Trying
log
to
carpet.
set the tone
Yeah.
of don't be assholes about it.
Please don't throw shit.
Yeah.
So that immediately set the tone. Who was on there? There wasn't. There was a lot of empty chairs on the panel. But we got. Should I just do the characters?
Yeah.
The characters that turned up basically. We had Bran, Lord Varys, Sir Davos, Arya, Grey Worm, Samwell Tarly, and Jaime Lannister.
Thank fuck Arya was there.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier knowing saying the characters as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, what was the defence and did it go well?
Well,
Sir Davos was the one, wasn't he, that very much at the heart of the controversy about the petition for the remaking of the last season.
Oh, okay.
And
Did
it
not
was
know.
kind of gossiped about his kind of view on the last season, which he was not shy about.
the same thing happened with Conleth Hill, who played Varys. He had an interview and it was picked apart and stuff. He stole that whole press
He
conference.
did.
When they were asked, like, so did you steal anything off the set when it finished? And he just said, I stole every scene I was in. It was, like, beautiful. That's the highlight of the whole
It was
panel by far.
as though he no longer needed to give a shit
Yeah.
about being held back about it. It was very fun.
David Benioff and D.B. Wise, who wrote the TV series, pulled out last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Pussies.
Yeah,
Oh.
absolute pussies. There's rumours they're going to help with the Lord of the Rings TV series,
They
and
need
people
to
are
stay
like,
out
no.
of it.
And they conveniently ran out of time for questions to be asked by the audience.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the host was like,
Really?
that's my fault. I'm like,
No, it wasn't.
not at all. So yeah, it was just...
Nice of the host to take the blame, but absolutely not.
it
always
must have
something.
been requested. It could have gone so much worse, though. It wasn't that bad, but it was just like so
Yeah.
tense the whole
As
time.
a panel went for the brand, they did well. They did fine, other than the odd comment here and there. But as a viewer, it was very dissatisfying.
I'd like to stick with the fantasy theme, if I may. Just literally yesterday, On the Lord of the Rings TV series Facebook, Amazon released a video introducing us to their fellowship.
Oh, that's exciting. That's quite a bit of progress.
It basically gave you a video of who's on the creative team, and it just showed them all like collaborating together. I'm not going to list off every single person who's on there because, to be honest, I haven't heard of most of them. The resume of people who've worked, and you got people who did stuff with 10 Cloverfield Lane, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, The Last Jedi, Bumblebee, and stuff like that. But my favourite part about the whole thing is John Howe is doing concept art. He did the art for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes, he did.
So that's really reassuring, and they've got
that is reassuring.
They've got a Tolkien scholar on board as well. A man called J.A. Bayona will be directing the first 2 episodes.
Just going back to the artist.
Yes.
That you were talking about. That gives extra confirmation for me because of how loyal to the authenticity of it he would be. You know what I mean? Like, there's so often that these kind of things get taken and elaborated, and it takes certain key members to be like, actually, in keeping with brand. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be this kind of thing, and anything that touches Tolkien, I believe, needs to be really well respected. And I feel like him vouching for it is quite comforting as a viewer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Hopefully Alan Lee will get involved with him as well, because those two make an amazing team. But yeah, as I said, a man called J.A. Bayona will be directing the first 2 episodes. He did Fallen Kingdom, whatever. But I really want Dom Karokowski to be a guest director on one of the episodes. He directed the Tolkien film. And you know what, just for the sheer nostalgia, I wouldn't mind Peter Jackson doing a couple of episodes.
Why not? What
as director, not producer. Stay away from the fucking green screen, please. But yeah. Why not? Just for the sheer lols. So yeah, basically they're in pre-production.
That's pretty cool, yeah, because there was always that worry that they wouldn't even get there.
Yeah, the ball, like judging from the video,
ages to get rolling.
But it seems to be rolling full force now. Orlando Bloom says it's very unlikely he'll appear in the Lord of the Rings TV series as well. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
like, this is second age stuff. We can drift further away, like from.
He's already been
mainstream.
in The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Is this before, after? Sorry, because I actually went it in the timeline zone.
This is second age. It's the TV series is set in the second age. The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings is set in the third age. 1,000 years is an age. Someone has been cast. Australian actress Markella Cavagna is playing a series regular. Her character is called Tyra. Nothing else is known. I have not heard of that name in Tolkien's universe before, so it might be a made-up one. But as we said in the last podcast, he didn't write much about the second age, so this is going to be completely fresh material, which is kind of smart in ways because we've got nothing to compare it to and complain about.
Yeah, which we have had for the last couple of fantasy series.
And the Hobbit trilogy, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I've been talking forever.
There's one thing I've noticed recently since E3, like Death Stranding. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm loving the fact is they're using some of the actors in it because I like the actual actors, so... Like
celebrities and shit.
Yeah, so that's a win automatically for me, so I'm quite biased on that section.
It is good, because Kojima's collaborating with Guillermo del Toro.
I'm getting a little bit peed off with the way they're bringing actors into games now. Like, I can understand having a few here and there, but they're bringing so many into it now. I feel like that could crush some of the game actors, because originally, like, Snake was, as you know, Dave Hayter, who did Snake from the very beginning all the way up, and then it would start to come to there, and they were like, no, now we want some other actors and stuff. But a load of people kicked off because they wanted was the voice of
guy.
Snake.
They replaced...
It's like, you had that voice, you know it's Snake.
Stop giving it to an actor because that's a trend.
They replaced it with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. Which the voice had no, like, to him was like, Kiefer Sutherland's voice is like a girl compared to his. Like with Dave Hayter's had that roughness, that whole army voice, that whole...
Oh, I see. So you mean like the tones don't quite match
your
expectations.
And then you got Keith Sutherland who goes along with it, and he sounds a bit of a pansy.
What else has he been in?
Keith Sutherland? He's 24, he's Jack
24,
Bauer.
Jack, yeah.
Oh, Jack Bauer!
Yeah.
Oh.
Compared to Snake, who's very much like, hey, you over there. And he's been smoking through his life, he's rough, he's been tortured, you know, everything. Keith Sutherland doesn't sound like a guy who's been smoking through his life, been tortured, everything, who hates everything. This guy sounds like he hates himself so much, but he still carries on and everything. Like,
is it distracting?
Yes, it doesn't go well. It breaks up the whole memento because you're so used to Well, there's Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and that's not including all the portable game versions as well. And he did the voice for all of them.
He must be pissed off that he's been bunked off for a fucking actor.
Like, he kicked off, of course,
Yeah,
because
why
he's just
waste your
like,
time?
why? And of course, all the fans kicked off, but then it didn't matter anyway because,
That's
well,
what they're
Konami
doing.
fucked everything up, and then
Fucking Konami.
Konami fucked up, so Hideo went off to Sony, and now they're done it completely different now. That's why Sony's got all these actors in. But it's got Hannibal in as one of the main evil guys, which I think I showed you the trailer.
Anthony Hopkins.
No. The new Hannibal.
Are you not feeling Keanu Reeves in the new Cyberpunk game?
See, again, yes, because of bias, because I like who he is, but no, because I think that's the only reason they're selling it.
Oh yeah,
When
because
it becomes a tool for selling product.
he promoted
It's not
it.
a game then now, is it? It's just money.
It's how they promoted the game. Keanu Reeves came on stage, no one knew about it on E3, saying, this game's amazing, I'm in it, and everyone was going nuts. Because Keanu Reeves is trending like a motherfucker right now.
He never stops trending.
Oh no, he won't. But the thing is, that's why I hate, because I hate it's the same as, I don't know if this is wrong in saying, it's like where people use kids as selling points and stuff like that to try and guilt people into stuff. I feel like they're using the celebrity thing as like, look, we have a celebrity, buy this, where instead of saying...
In the same way as in an episode of Black Mirror, it started to die down a bit. Oh, Miley Cyrus is going to be in it. People started watching it again.
Yeah, but a book, you can't exactly bring in Keanu Reeves into a book and then try and sell it, where a book has to be what it is, and that's what...
Just a picture
that's
of
what
him in the
games
middle
used to be.
with no context whatsoever.
No, none needed.
Hey,
Half
look, it's Keanu
naked on a
Reeves.
horse with
Yeah.
a whip. No, actually a T-Rex. Come on, it's Keanu Reeves.
It's kind of like an unexpected dick pic with no context.
Which is one
Like,
reason
no one
why...
ever wants that.
Yeah. And that's one reason why I'm starting to think books is the best media, because the only selling point is what it is, which is what games used to be. It was its own story. But now they're using other people as a selling point, which I don't like.
It happened again. I know, guys, have you heard of the game developers From Software? They did Dark Souls. They did Dark Souls and Bloodborne. They've got a new game coming out called Elden Ring, but the lore has been written by George R.R. Martin. And that made me kind of like go...
Cringe.
Because I'm sure it's going to be wonderful and deep and dark and all that, but From Software are perfectly capable on their own. Like,
Without...
I
with
think the
Bloodborne,
mixture
Demon
would be
Souls,
well.
Dark Souls, really good games with really good lore, really dark as fuck. They don't need George R.R. Martin. And shouldn't he be prioritising other shit at the minute?
Yeah, and surely it's a bit of a kick in the teeth of the people that were doing it before. Like, they were doing a perfectly adequate job. Why bring in some bullshit celebrity?
Because it sells.
Yeah, that's literally it. It's money.
Again,
innit?
with games, why bring in bullshit celebrities into games when they could just create new characters themselves?
Yeah. money.
Lara Croft was her own character originally, then they came into a film.
Yeah, Lara Croft has kind of done that and then looped back round.
Yeah.
Because the game promoted the film, and now the film has promoted the game again.
The latest
Yeah.
film was shit.
I never saw it.
Yeah, he did, on the plane to Mexico with me.
I don't know if that counts as seeing it.
But what do you think?
Yeah, very that. I think
Yeah, it's just trying to
money making.
put a face on the front cover. You know.
It's kind of like they don't have to bother marketing it because the name
Because Keanu Reeves does it for you.
Does it
Mm.
itself.
I don't mind it when there's a new Avengers game coming out soon. It was advertised at E3. I wouldn't have minded at all if the actors from the Avengers movie came to do the voices for that game. That I wouldn't have minded at all.
No, that makes
But
sense.
Nolan North is doing Captain America. And they look like cheap cosplay versions of the original, the live-action universe. Looks dreadful, to be honest.
Something like that makes sense, because if they're the characters from the films, that makes sense, because you
You're
want
already
associate the
used to the
voice,
name.
and that's the characters
Yeah.
from them, isn't it? That makes sense.
Because if
that's reasonable.
If there's going to be, I don't know if there is a 24 game, in like Jack, you'd expect Keith Sutherland to do the voice of Jack Bauer, obviously, because he played Jack Bauer in the program. But if David Hayter came in to replace Keith Sutherland to do the voice of Jack Bauer, you'd think that'd be a little weird, but it'd be hilarious, haha.
It would be a brilliant crossover, and I hope
Yeah.
they do that.
In some respects, it would make sense to have like the people who played the original characters to do the voice.
No,
in
that
games,
makes
but
complete sense, and I agree with
yeah,
that.
but
I have something completely different to talk about.
okay.
Netflix original series, nothing to do with films or games. It's called Best in Blow, and essentially it's a glass blowing competition.
I've been seeing that and I've been interested to see because I saw a glimpse of a skull or a gas mask.
Possibly. Some of the shit that they make is insane, and the level of intensity is also
It is
impressive.
actually quite interesting stuff.
Yeah, it takes you through like different processes, tools, like different. There's I think about 10 contestants, and they're all very different. And some of them are hot, which piques your interest too, which is always helpful. But they come up with some really crazy and amazing
So it's not
stuff.
the same boring shit.
Yeah, and each time, each program, they set a different task and shit. So the outcome is always a bit different anyway. I think they're like 25-minute episodes. It's good to end your night on just before bed.
I definitely have to give that a go then.
I would highly
'cause
recommend.
I saw it. The title made me laugh and I thought, ooh.
Oh god, yeah, Best in Blow, hilarious, definite euphemism.
Who hosts?
Don't know the guy.
2 glass blowy people
I saw
and a comedian.
It was only like a swift glimpse. You know when it just does the little trailery
Yeah,
parts
yeah.
flipping through, and it was one of those things where you're half watching because you're slightly interested.
There's some interesting characters in there.
I'll start giving that a go.
And some wacky shit too.
I wrote
That
Best in
seems
Blow
like
on my
actual-
phone and it is not here. It's just got pages of other shit.
Porn, I should imagine.
Oh,
It's on
yes.
Netflix.
Become a blowjob queen.
No need.
61 tips.
Oh, just the tip.
What's the factory one?
Inside the Factory with Greg Wallace, you know, the dude from MasterChef,
Mm-hmm.
the bald one that had a sweet tooth.
Oh yes.
He basically goes around different factories and takes you through the processes and shit. He did this coffee
Ooh.
one the other day, and it was actually really
Like
interesting.
like how they made it a little bit.
Yeah, like instant coffee, and then takes you through a bit of history as well. Really interesting.
I'm going to leave this to you because I have not seen The Lion King, so I'll let you two fight this out.
Yeah, this was really, really weird because I thought, because you were like, we're going to go to a city and watch The Lion King. I just thought you meant a play.
Lion King on stage is fucking phenomenal,
It
and
is.
I would recommend that to anyone.
Absolutely.
Whether you like theatre or not, it's a really incredible experience.
I remember many years ago watching The Lion King on stage, sporting my first ever hangover. And it was still amazing. Like, there was some bullshit coach journey that we had to go on to London.
My 13th birthday, yeah.
Yes, that was it. That
Which
makes
you
sense.
ruined.
Yeah, I improved. Yeah, it's really good. Like, stunning. Anyway, so that was confusing. And I watched it a couple of days after you. And then...
The film.
Yeah. Sorry,
the
I'd
new
watched...
live action
Yes.
Lion King film.
And then, a couple of days later, we met randomly in the hallway. Found out that we have completely the opposite opinions on it.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Although, I had a really lovely day. So, went to just a random city to go and watch The Lion King. Ended up being Gloucester. I was having a lovely day. Watched it. And, like, you know, when the sun's out and all this, like... Went and had an ale after. Sun's out, guns out. Feeling a little bit pissed. Having a lovely time.
Day piss is always fun.
Day drunk, yeah.
I love day drunk.
On a proper adventure. I was having a really lovely time. I found my normal go-to gripe with things like this is the animations being shit. Thought the animations were pretty on point, personally. I liked that it wasn't completely the same as the films. They had little small variations, but weren't distracting from the flow of the film.
No, don't worry about spoilers for myself. It will be spoilers, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so, you know when Pumbaa and Timon are used as a distraction from the hyenas when they're back at Pride Rock trying to...
I love that.
Yeah, and he's in like the little hula skirt and all that laugh. You know the one. Are you waking? Yep. For some bacon.
Yep.
That's the one. Yeah, that was different. I do feel like it's possibly because he mentions dressing in drag and the PGU rating of today couldn't possibly condone such activities. Which is bullshit, but some things like that were different and were fine. If it was for that reason, that is a shitty reason. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. But you really didn't.
Yeah, like when I was listening to... Because this is the first time I've heard your opinion on it at all,
Yeah.
because we wanted to save it for this. And I was just like, were we watching the same movie? I took some notes. I felt like it was a CGI... Well, okay, first of all, it's beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
the
it is
cinematography
really
is amazing. The animals look really cool. I'm not going to take anything away from it in that respect. But it felt like a CGI reskin, and it was a play-by-play of the original for me. But going back to the animations, that I found there was a lack of facial expressions, and I believe that diluted the vocal performances. It made them feel flat and emotionless to me because, do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like the director, Jon Favreau, he was like, hey guys, facial expressions in this movie aren't going to be a thing. We'll move the eyes and eyebrows a little bit, but that's about it as far as visual emotions are going to be. So if you could, like, inject little to fuck all emotions in your own vocal performances, that would be absolutely amazing. Even James Earl Jones, who played... I had the same complaint about James Earl Jones when he redid Darth Vader in Rogue One. It just... I don't know if... Yeah, I don't know if over time his throat's changed or whatever, but it just didn't feel like the same James Earl Jones.
Maybe he quit smoking.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because, like, a human being, I need the psychological connection. Like, if you were to just sit there and look at me and play a recording of you talking to me without moving your face, I wouldn't be able to get slightly immersed into that, you know, because when you're having a conversation with someone or whatever, you're seeing their mouth move and there's body language, but there was so little with the animals that it just felt like they had a speaker tucked under their fur. You know what I mean?
Disagree completely.
Really?
I think it's more subtle than what you were hoping for. Additionally, speaking of subtle, Beyonce playing Nala I thought was absolutely beautiful. She made a great job of Can You Feel the Love Tonight. She also did another song later on in the film. My fear of her being Nala was that it was going to be Beyonce featuring The Lion King, and it very wasn't that. So I feel like that was done really well.
I enjoyed the songs apart from the Be Prepared one.
Yes, actually, yeah, with Scar and the hyenas. The cartoon version made that very much more atmospheric. Because it could, though. But this kind of ties in with that theory that we had before about your experiences previously and your mood on the day affecting your enjoyment of the film. Because I was having a fucking fantastic day.
I agree with that completely.
So I went into it very positive, very open-minded.
Timon and Pumbaa stole the whole film.
They did in the original.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and I did enjoy the Hakuna Matata when they were like, "You've grown 400 pounds since we started this song." When they lead from baby Simba to now mature Simba, that was funny. The soundtrack has been mixed and edited very well by Hans Zimmer because he did the original and he's come back for this, and it was nice. Good. He switched it up but kept the same vibe. Yeah. It was brilliant. Just to give you the quick facts, $260 million budget and currently box office $909.5 million. But it's still out, so that's just going to get better by the time this is released. The merch
that they've been leeching off of it as well is insane.
I think you should make a game out of it, like give it like a variations between like prices, and we have a guess between each other, and we show like a tally or something between it, and at the end of it, like we have to buy a crate or something for the other.
You know that Pumbaa that you used to have, the teddy of Pumbaa?
Yeah.
You can buy that again now.
Oh, that's brilliant. I miss him. I wanted more Rafiki.
Yes, same.
I wanted a lot more Rafiki because he was very interesting. He was like almost the
glue that knitted it all together.
And yeah, because he was the most human character, like physically.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like the bridge in that respect. But I thought they could have just been more done with him. I thought the little, if you haven't seen the movie, you won't know what the fuck I'm on about. I thought the tuft of hair floating around, I thought that was a bit, come on.
When it got shit out by the giraffe and then picked up.
Like travels across the whole of the African plains.
Additionally, one scene that was slightly lacking for me. You know when just before Simba chats to his dad in the clouds, in the cartoon, Rafiki and Simba had much more of an interaction.
Yeah, they did.
In the live action, it was more of a chase through the forest, whereas in the cartoon, he had that whole dialogue of hitting him on the head, oh, it's in the past. You know what I mean? And I felt like that was more...
Rafiki didn't have...
understood by the audience in the original.
And I know that this would never ever happen, but I would have loved a really dark version.
With Disney?
I know, but could you, like, in an alternative universe... I've even wrote this down. Like, in an alternative universe, you know, obviously when Scar's getting, like, torn to shreds by the hyenas, it goes up and you just see a load of shadows, like, wrestling around. Could you imagine if you actually saw that? Mm-hmm. It would be absolutely savage.
Be Prepared would have been horrendous.
Yeah, and when Sarabi refuses to be Scar's queen... That could have gotten dark. But that will never happen, obviously. You know, make it more realistic to what actually goes on in the wild.
But, do you know how lions actually kill? they try and put the mouths over the actual animal's mouth, so when they're breathing, they actually just breathe in the lion's breath, so the lion can still breathe, and they're only breathing the carbon dioxide of the lion, so they slowly pass out, and then when they pass out, they take it out. Yeah, they suffocate them, and then just basically go for the throat to make them bleed out.
It's like the camel thing all over again, isn't it?
The camel rape.
Yeah.
What?
No,
I'm
it's
sorry,
good.
they just fucking.
No, you're
and
a
it's
consultant when it
beautiful.
comes to that.
It's beautiful.
But stuff like that, never going to see it in a
No,
a Disney movie, yeah. Which is a shame.
Maybe in the fan fiction.
Hyenas are quite pussies though in real life.
Shenzi has a much bigger role to play in the live action movie, and it was good.
Yeah, I like that. I enjoyed it quite. And I feel like you got more of a sense of what nature is like out of the live action than the original. Like the actual circle of life was explained a bit better, which was good to see.
I'm yet to see Beauty and the Beast. I'm still yet to see Dumbo, but so far, in terms of live action remakes of Disney movies, Jungle Book's winning for me.
I've seen Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, and Lion King, and Lion King is winning for me.
Dickhead of the Week.
Beautiful harmony, guys.
I was just going to phone it in by nominating David Benioff and D.B. Wise for pulling out of the last ever Game of Thrones panel at Comic-Con because...
That was a bullshit move as well, because there were 2 seats at the end who were clearly designated for them, and they obviously pulled out last minute fucking bullshit bollocks that was.
Suffer for your art. Take
exactly.
the hit.
Take the heat,
Take
man.
the hit. Yeah, take the hit, take the heat. Take both.
Take it all.
Game of Thrones ended so long ago. I was over it all as I was watching that last episode. Like we would have to do a different podcast completely about going into that. We've got the categories: flaccid dick. Wait, you're the only one occupying that one, Scott. Semi-flaccid dick, erect dick, super erect dick, super throbbing erect dick, cock ring, shooting blood, and Konami.
I think it's a real pussy move, and they should have stepped their pussies up.
Because I imagine like all the cast would have been asked to do that, and only that select few turned up.
Had the balls to actually do it, yeah.
No, I agree with that. That's too much of a pussy move. They wrote it. They should stand by it.
Yeah, and just because it's been taking some heat from like some die-hard fans and shit, if they've made some bad creative choices, they should own that shit and just be like, some people wanted it to go differently. This is what we chose. And fucking stand by your bollocks. Don't go running with your tail between your legs. That's horseshit. Like when Vin Diesel starred in that fucking babysitting film.
Yes.
Oh, the pacifier.
That's it.
Yeah,
that was a learning curve, wasn't it?
That was a cash grab. That was a meal ticket for him.
Oh, it's one of those things. He probably thought it might be kind of good to get a load of money out of it, and it probably never did work out like that.
There's only one good bit in that whole film. It's where he's driving the girl to school. He's driving like a fucking nutter, and she jumps out the car and is like, land! It's like, that got a laugh out of me. It wasn't worth watching all of it for, but it was my like... It got a genuine laugh out of me.
Yeah, it got a bit of a chuckle, and you thought, I suppose then.
It was also in the trailer, though, so I'd seen it already.
Yeah, which made it shit, because it was the best part of the film.
Anyway, going back to it, where does everyone think they belong?
What's the one below the top one?
Shooting Blood.
I reckon there.
They will join Nintendo and the iPhone 7 if they're going to Shooting Blood.
What's the top one?
Konami. The Jumanji 2 writers are there. I feel...
In fact, yeah,
I think the top
there.
one.
Put them in the top one.
I think the top one.
Sleazy dickholes.
Yeah, because it's their art. They should own up to their own artwork.
Yeah.
That should be the title.
Sleazy dickholes. I like that.
Okay.
They should be the top. I think of the top because they should agree to their own artwork.
I also feel kind of bad that the Jumanji 2 writers are in there because I really enjoyed that film.
Doesn't matter.
No. Once
film.
you're in, you're in.
It's a different film.
Yeah, but we put them in. We put the Jumanji 2 writers in there because they've turned the board game into a video, and then we ended up really liking the movie anyway.
I never saw it, so I still stand by it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. But yes, I'm fine with them going into Konami.
It'll be interesting to see what they do next.
Avoiding the Lord of the Rings TV series, hopefully.
It'll be a great...
Okay, so David Benioff and DB Wise, welcome to the Konami section on the Dickhead of the Week.
Repent, and thou shalt be saved.
I did not post about asking us any questions.
Good work.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh shit, we got a flood of questions coming in though.
Fucking flooding. I also have not reviewed any Mackie's toys in a while. However, the last time I got a Mackie's, I got a Beyblade, which was pretty sick.
We did play them.
Yeah.
They were fun.
got pulled into a YouTube hole about Beyblade competitions. You know, there's a Marbles Olympics. The
It's
setup
insane.
is insane.
Yeah, no, legit. Like, he's got proper scoreboard and everything. He does commentary over the whole thing.
Up scoreboard.
I'm not
You will
Stadiums made
no
of
joke.
Lego.
You will get a half a semi over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it tasteful, though?
Honestly, we'll
I will
watch
show
them
you.
after this.
Yeah. Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I set this off and let's put some marble races on.
Yeah.